It's here. How are you doing today? All right, let's talk about mastery. Let's talk about being on the plateau. Let's talk about how much it sucks. So, today, what I really wanted to talk to you about is just some of my lessons, some of the struggles I'm going through, and maybe you could relate and maybe you can take away some nuggets from my lessons. And also the lessons of my students that I'm working with. So recently, the reason I'm doing this video is because it's Friday and I felt like I'm in a reflective mood, and today's my day to really look at my week and my month and then look forward and see where I'm at and what I'm doing, right? And one of the books that I finished recently is called Mastery. And it's kind of cool because the book talks about how mastery, gaining mastery in anything is really about being on a plateau most of the time, and getting comfortable. Getting good at something is getting comfortable not feeling or seeing results for a long time. So mastery is really about being comfortable on the plateau. So let me talk to you a little bit about what that means, right? So let's say you're looking to improve your skill in something, a single thing. And so your progress and your skill, so if this is a skill versus time, let's say you'll feel like you're the same, your skill doesn't improve, and then what happens, you have a little boop, you master a little bit of it, or you get a little bit better. And then what happens is you practice, keep on practicing, but boop, you get a little bit better, and then you keep going, right? So if you really look at this in the most fundamental way, the pieces that are like those little like rewards or feelings of achievement are just little blips on this giant path of plateau. And sometimes, like, this is totally like an approximation. Sometimes you might have like a super long plateau, then you get a little super long, like really your life is this is it, right? If you persist, because this is me, like, this is what I've been really focusing on for the past couple of years. This was me. Woo! Yeah, I got excited. That's great. Okay, yeah. And then this got just a little bit too long for me. And I started questioning myself here. I started saying things like, maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not good enough to this. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't have what it takes to get to the next level, because the plateau was so long. And I remember when I first launched Broken Coworker, which is a scenario interactive episode. What happened is it got amazing feedback. People loved it, and it was almost like I was like, that's it? Should I just continue getting better at that? And because I didn't see the bump yet, I was on the plateau not too long ago, I started doubting myself. I started doubting that I'm on the right path. I started doubting if this is something I actually needed to get good at. And so what happened is I kind of reverted back to, I'm going to be a master, jack of all trades. And I started like pitching projects to customers that were just all over the place. Like, you should have seen my decks of like examples that I would show people, saying, hey, here's my stuff. Here's all the things I could do. Pick from the menu as a la carte. It was insane. It was insane because the reason it was so bad, actually, for me psychologically, and I don't know if you can relate to this, and if you can, let me know. Say, hell yeah, Anna, I can relate. And if you can't, good for you. So one of the things that would happen is every time I had a project, because I had this a la carte menu of anything really that could be developed in e-learning, is that there would be a huge amount of anxiety about what was going to come back and the expectations from the client. Because I was like, what if they want, I'm saying I could build you this, but what if they want like 10 of it? And I didn't know what it was going to be. So there was the fear of the unknown, and the anxiety was insane, and it's crazy. So one of the things that you can do as somebody who is, I'm an independent person who's trying to network and build business out there, well, it's very hard to then scale that, because you're constantly trying to scale yourself in the most efficient way. And if you offer 100 different kinds of products, that's really unscalable. So then, one of the most impactful movies probably that I saw on the subject of mastery is, I don't know if you've seen it. If you've seen it, let me know, because I think it's amazing. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. This movie's called Jiro. And I think it's like Jiro makes sushi or something, right? And this story, it's a documentary, and it's about a guy who has like this tiny sushi shop in some like metro or something. It's just a dive, but he's mastered the art, and he's so dedicated to it that people will pay an exorbitant amount of money just to be able to sit and have him serve them sushi, because he takes such pride and he's mastered it. And it, whether that's psychosomatic or what it is, like you're like, this is the most amazing sushi. The fact that somebody is serving you something that they've invested, this time and effort into it, and they take such pride in what they do, that is just, that's one of the things that makes that experience excellent, right? And it's funny because I don't know if we devalue that, like we iconize some of these people, but when it comes to us and us saying no to all the million things, like he's not gonna, if you come to his sushi shop and you say, hey, do you got any gyozas? He might say no, right? Hey, do you have any coffee or pasta? He'll say no, and he won't feel any regrets about it, because he's got that amazing skill set for sushi and sashimi and all that jazz, right? And then you come to us, and I used to do this, and in some cases I really have to be, I'm still working on being very focused about where I add the most value, because people will ask you to do things that are close enough or kind of within your realm, and then they'll take you down a rabbit hole. And now what I do is, and I don't know if this will help you, but this is kind of the mindset that you have to adopt almost, is every time I take on a project, I think to myself, is this project going to be something that I can build on with my skill set, or am I going down a rabbit hole that's going to take me out of my zone of excellence? And I've been there. I've taken on projects recently. I finished them recently, that I was like, man, it was great, but it's nothing I can build on again. It's nothing where I'm saying, this is my zone, and I'm chipping away at that mastery, even if it's at the plateau, right? So it's very hard. And also, because I do these kinds of videos, people will ask me questions, and the questions are so close to all these little things I'm interested in that it's easy for me to get distracted and be like, yeah, I can give you an... No, I gotta hold back. I gotta say, you know what? Not my forte, or not my focus right now. Here, check this out, if I can, right? Because a lot of times you'll be like, yeah, of course I can help you, and you want to be helpful. And you want to help people when they come to you with their projects. You want to help people when they have questions that are within your realm. But that is not what helps you gain mastery, right? And the mundane. And it's easy because those things are like, you're on the third plateau and you say, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should go down this shiny new path, this yellow brick road that I don't know where it'll take me. So sometimes it's a little bit challenging, and constantly have to bring it back. What's my number one thing? What's my one thing? And it's so hard. And there's days where I finish the day and I think, have I moved that needle forward on that one thing? And there are days where I do not. There are days where I'm just like, wow, I got distracted, and it was awesome, but it was distracting, and I didn't make momentum. I didn't have that momentum that I needed. And it was kind of cool. You've probably seen this visual, and then I'll finish off the live. I want to hear your feedback about, what's your one thing? Have you thought about that? Are you excited by it? Or are you freaked out? Is this something that you're like, I don't know. It's hard, right? It's hard being on the plateau, considering like you could have just the wins are so incremental, and then once again you're back to it, right? You guys got to check out that book, Mastery. But one of the things that I saw, and this is from one of my mentors, and he said something very profound and actually he didn't really have to say it, he just showed a image, and I think this image, in fact I should have this image made huge and framed in my office because it really would, every time I see it, it helps me really figure out how I can have real momentum, even if it is focusing on something on a single day. And I recommend this to my students as well, is that most of the people I work with have about 15 things going on at the same time, right? But if you push back and say, I need to carve out a day in this next 2 weeks to work on this, you'll make way more progress than if you chunked it 10 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time here and there. It just does not work. The kind of zone you can get into after an hour or two of work is insanely awesome. So here's what I'll leave you with. This is so cool. So let's say this is your project or your skill, whatever. Let's just call it a project right now. And what you have, let's say, is 12 units of energy to put an effort towards this project, right? And you can, actually no, I got it all wrong. It's momentum. So it's still the same thing, but let's call it momentum, right? So what you can do is you can have momentum and in 12 different directions, right? So if I exert momentum in 12 different directions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? What happens is nothing really happens. There's no movement. Nothing moves. Even though you've made all this effort, you've expanded 12 units of energy, right? But because there was no focus, now imagine this. That's where you want to be, right? It's so cool. I mean, sometimes these things are so simple, but then you just have to keep on reminding yourself. You're like, I could be doing this every day, and baby, I've spent some days doing this. And then at the end, you're like, what the hell happens? Or you could be doing this. Pick a single day and just do this for a day. Huge. And it's funny because I've had students come back and say, yeah, I did that. It's kind of gutsy because a lot of us have meetings and all this stuff, and you feel like you owe people that time. But it's kind of interesting. I learned this from the One Thing book. It talked about how and Jeff, the guy who runs the community or the One Thing, he says that what you're supposed to do is fill your calendar with the things that are the most important, and then all the other pieces, like the appointments, have to interview to be there, to earn the right to take up your time. Because we know that the minute somebody has a meeting with us, before that meeting we're prepping and getting ready. After that meeting, we're prepping and getting ready. And before we get it back into our One Thing, it's already lost 2-3 hours, right? So 15, 25-minute meeting even, that's still a lot of mental capacity that gets eaten up. So think about this. Draw this for yourself. And every time you get all distracted and shiny new things come up, or you're like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, let's explore that. Think about this. And what's this one thing for you that you want to really make headway on? I think this will help you. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, please post them underneath the video. And if you want to get on my mailing list where I send out stuff and you get notifications, and also get to check out my webinar about how I use scenario models, go to scenariodesignsecrets.com, because why not? It's awesome. Also, the other thing is, if you found this useful, please share it with people. The more people find out about it, the more, this ends up being out there in the world, and it's helpful for people. And then also it puts it up to the top of the list, and good messages spread better, right? That's it. So have a wonderful weekend, friends, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. All right, take care.